there's something to be said about praying to a higher power, right? And recognizing that we don't have to carry this weight, we don't have to carry this load alone.
Hello and welcome to Coco Pod's podcast. My name is Dr. Bola Sogade. I'm a women's health specialist. We have been talking to Dr. Jessica Patella, a naturopathic physician who has been talking to us about naturopathic medicine with respect to maternal health.
So I'm teaching at the classical school during the day.
As somebody that does lifestyle counseling, how do you work with people, with patients, to make positive lifestyle changes, including stress management, life event, stress management, exercise, and sleep hygiene?
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. I think I'm going to kind of take that in reverse and start with sleep hygiene. So we know now almost everybody has a screen of some sort in front of them almost all the time. And we know that affects, that light is coming into the eye, which is affecting, the brain and the melatonin production. And so one of the best things to do for sleep hygiene is try to turn those screens off before you're going to bed. And if you have a hard time winding down, even just having a lamp and getting an old-fashioned book and reading that to help before bed, but trying to get away from that screen and lower the lights is very, very helpful as far as sleep hygiene goes. And that kind of leads into some of that stress. There's a lot of stress that comes from having a device, whether it's some of your younger patients and there's like the stress of the social media and the comparison, or if it's as people are getting older and it's just, you used to be at work. I mean, it's a little bit different for doctors, but you were at work and it's the end of your day and you're done and you get to go home and then you go back the next day. But when you're at home, it's all shut off, right? And now people want you all the time, right? They're going to send an email at 10 o'clock at night and they expect an answer. Now, again, obviously it's different. You're on call as a physician for mothers that are laboring, but I feel like having those healthy boundaries, if women can have that boundary and say, listen, I go home and then my job becomes mother, wife, auntie, friend, whatever it is, right? There's another role that happens outside of work, and trying to keep those boundaries as far as not being available all the time. I think that helps with stress as well. And then obviously the exercise, I feel like there's such a benefit of getting outside. And obviously that, if somebody can get to a park, if they feel like the park is safe enough to spend time in, that is going to help with your sleep hygiene, because now your brain is being outside. It's connecting with the natural light. You're breathing the fresh air. You're being, around the plants, which provide more oxygen. So it's very beneficial to have the time in nature. And then to go back to the other question, as far as stress, I would always ask my patients about their spiritual practice. And I think we can become, again, going back to that device, it's like, well, we're connected to people, but only through that. And there's such a benefit and strength that comes from being involved in community. And a lot of times that community is related around somebody's church or their place of worship. And we know, right, going back to your research question, we know from research that those that attend services actually live longer. I forget how many, but it's years longer just from being in that community. There's something to be said about praying to a higher power, right? And recognizing that we don't have to carry this weight, we don't have to carry this load alone. And when you're in that community, hopefully then, especially if it's a single mama that you have or somebody that's trying to do all of this on their own, hopefully then they have community that they can reach out to when they need it, because none of us can do all of this alone, right? All of us need support. All of us need people that are behind us. No matter what your walk of life is and what your profession, we all are going to have hard times that we need people to come around us and support us. And so I think that's really important to have patients understand, right? Like, what is your support system? Who can you call on, especially in those early days of being a mama when you are like sleep deprived and you don't know what's day, what's night, what's happening, right? So having, that's that idea of the community of women, right? Having other people come alongside you, whether it's to bring you food or something. If you can have that and have that community, it helps so much with stress.
Well, thank you so much for that. And you did kind of talk about the mind-body connection. So there's definitely a mind-body connection. What are the techniques incorporated into naturopathic care to address mental and emotional well-being?
Mm-hmm. Again, this is one of the things I love about homeopathic medicine is because it addresses so much of that mental emotional picture versus just whatever the physical symptom is. When we did shifts in medical school on for homeopathy, we had the DSM, which is essentially the diagnostic tool that's used for mental health. And we would have that out and we'd be saying, okay, what does this look like? What is the most likely diagnosis here? Are these typical symptoms? And that would help lead us to know what homeopathic remedy might be the best fit for that person. So I think all of that kind of lines into that. And then with the mental emotional health, again, just I really truly believe getting outside, even walking around barefoot, right? We're in the South, we can do that. And feeling the earth underneath you and feeling that connection and finding a park that is a good place to be, it helps your mental health to have that little bit of space, even if it's just 10 minutes outside, getting the natural sunlight, the vitamin D. It helps your overall state of health, well-being, your mind. And again, having that spiritual practice helps as well.
Yeah. For the woman, apart from getting outside, if they think the mental stress and emotional stress is too much, we want them definitely to find a professional and talk to a professional. And we keep looking for areas of collaboration, because
Yes, I would love that.
and I think definitely with what you do, you should be a stakeholder in maternity care, looking for a big collaboration, not just
Okay.
OB/GYNs, psychologists, mental health specialists. And,
Okay.
I don't even think they know enough about naturopathic doctors to include them because they talk about lactation specialists, so many other things, dietitians, doulas. There's also this part of the
Right.
whole holistic approach, which is naturopathic medicine. So,
Okay, all we can do is try and, just go from there. I mean, I feel like that's the biggest frustration
yeah.
just because there's nowhere in the South that recognizes it. And you're like, chiropractors, they're recognized, or acupuncturists, which are recognized. And like you said, doulas, right?
Yeah.
We have doctors that won't even let them in the room
Yeah.
here. And so, I have education. It is a bit frustrating, but we just have to stay positive and keep hoping that eventually, I'm to the point where I'm like, well, maybe it'll be for the next generation and not for me, but
It probably will be. At least we're paving the way. We're paving the way for that.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
So, as we close, I want to ask you, where can a woman find a naturopathic doctor in her area? And I guess maybe we'd follow the lines of finding a therapist or a mental health counselor. And, where is just a good place to find resources on all the points we touched on today?
Absolutely. So if it's for a naturopathic doctor, I would recommend that they could do a simple search, naturopathic doctor, and then put the town that they're in and just check the school that they graduated from if it's an unlicensed state. But our national organization has a lot of information. It'll help you to know whether the state is licensed or not, whether the state has different insurance programs or not. And that's naturopathic.org, which is the American Association of Naturopathic Physicians. So that has a wealth of knowledge for the woman that's interested in finding out more about naturopathic medicine.
But as we go to closing thoughts, we really want to thank Dr. Jessica Patella for coming on Cocoa Pods podcast today. So, do you have any final advice or words of encouragement for people who may be listening and wanting to know more about non-conventional medicine?
Yes. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful to be here. I would say to the woman that's interested in this, just keep staying strong, keep researching, keep looking, because there are those of us out there that have that same mindset. And hopefully you can find an amazing naturopathic doctor to connect to in your area. And hopefully some medical doctors will find some too to connect with. And my biggest thing that I want to leave the women with today is just remember what an absolute miracle your body is. You have the ability to create life within you. And that is just, it's the most awe-inspiring gift. I know that that's why Dr. Sogade is in the profession she's in, because every time a child is born, it's a miracle. And it's this beautiful gift that you just can't help but you just can't help but feeling that from your heart. And so just remember that you are a blessing to this world, that your body is a miracle, and we are so grateful that you are here and interested in natural health.
Wow, wow. Thank you very much. I want to extend my most grand appreciation to you, Dr. Jessica Patella, in the Florida area, for your willingness to participate in a podcast that can make change. We're very grateful to you, and you shed a lot of light on this topic for us. Thank you for coming to Cocoa Pods podcast.
Thank you for having me.